Really hard to do sandbag cleans with a microphone on. All right, cycle 2 has a lot of odd objects and weird maneuvers that we're going to be doing with our favorite implement, the sandbag. You may have noticed that we got a metric boatload of sand up on top of the ramp that we're currently drying out to expand our sandbag arsenal. But I wanted to take a few moments to talk to you all about how to more efficiently move this big, heavy bag of sand. So one of the main issues that folks have with the sandbag, the primary thing that we see go wrong, is that they're trying to just pick this bag up straight off the ground and just rip it and throw it over their shoulder, right? That's basically the idea, but the problem with that is that that will tear up your biceps to the point where it could possibly tear your bicep if you're using one of the heavier bags. The 30 and the 60 pound D-ball, yeah, you're probably not going to cause any significant damage to your biceps, but it will cause you to get a bicep pump. If you're using a sandbag in a workout that has any other maneuver with your arm, you're going to have a really bad time. So it behooves you to set yourself up so that you are using your body efficiently, right? So the first step to every sandbag clean should be establishing a grip with long arms. So we're grabbing this bag from both sides, our feet just about shoulder width apart, my arms are straight down, and then I'm going to basically deadlift this sandbag up, bring it to my lap. At this point, I'll wrap my arms around the bag and hug it to my chest as firmly as I can, so when I extend my hips and get that hip drive, the bag is already basically over my shoulder, right? So then when I get this hip pop, off it goes, right? Easy peasy. There's a 4-step process to the sandbag clean. I'm a guy that likes mnemonic devices, and if I can sing it in a song, it's going to help me remember things a little bit easier. So the 4 steps for the sandbag clean: lap it, wrap it, hip it, and flip it, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to come down, straight arms, feet shoulder width apart, trying to keep a nice flat back so that we're not getting scooped out. We're going to bring this sandbag up to our lap in the first pull. So that's the lap it, right? Bring it up into the lap. That goes right into wrap it. Now I've got it wrapped, tucked up against my chest as tight as I can. Then we're going to hip it and flip it. So I'm extending my hips violently and then flipping the sandbag over my shoulder. Just that simple. Another issue that we often see with the sandbag cleans is not reaching full extension at the top. Right? So folks will be in such a rush to get this sandbag over their shoulder that they'll actually short the extension. That's not actually a good rep. Right? So if we're taking the sandbag, we're bringing it up to a hip, and then we're stopping there, that's not good. It's not a good rep, right? We need to stand all the way up, full extension, and open those hips to use that drive to help us complete the rep. We're actually shorting ourselves and using more energy trying to duck under that sandbag than we would be if we fully extended at the top. A couple of other movements that are going to come up throughout the cycle and just in general throughout our training cycles, not just this one, are going to be the sandbag lunge and the sandbag squat. So these are going to overload our frontal plane. We're going to pull ourselves forward, so we're going to have to resist that. And it's just awkward and cumbersome, right? If you've ever done front rack versus back rack lunges, then you know the difference of having to hold and support that weight here. Makes it much, much harder to breathe than if you're able to open up and just support that weight across your back. Same basic principle here for both the squat and the lunge with the sandbag. So a couple of things that you can do to help yourself with these sandbag squats and lunges is open up your hips a little bit wider than you normally would for a regular squat, right? And you're also going to have to sit back further on your heels than you would for a traditional squat because you have all of this extra weight pulling you actively more forward. So if we're taking this sandbag up to our chest, try and wrap your hands all the way around the bag if you can, and if you can grasp the other side of the bag, that's even better. But as we go into these squats, my feet are just a little bit outside where they normally would be for a squat, and I'm just sitting back on my heels, trying to let that bag rest in between my legs as I go down into that squat. For lunges, basically the same thing. We're going to try and lean into our forward leg as we go into these sandbag lunges so that as we reach the bottom, we can use that moment as a little bit of a rest, a little bit of recovery. That'll help us stay more active with the bag throughout the set so that we don't have to drop it as often, right? It's much better to take a brief pause in the lunge than it is to drop the bag and have to pick it back up again. Because if you're anything like me, if you're 8 minutes deep into a workout, staring at that thing, it makes it really hard to want to pick it back up. Doesn't feel fun, don't want to do it, but you got to do it. So the less times you have to pick it up, the more success you'll have. So as we grab this bag, bring it up here, and then we're just trying to lunge into our forward leg so that we get a little bit of recovery and rest as that bag rests on our thigh. Easy peasy. All right, that's just a few tips to help you with a few of the more common sandbag movements that we'll be doing through this cycle and the cycles to follow. I hope you found it helpful and informative so that you can use the sandbags in workouts and not sandbag your workouts.